Now, what factors are considered in sentencing that you need to know about when the judge gives the accused their sentence? Are aggravating and mitigating factors, which are the opposite of one another. Aggravating are circumstances relating to the offense, victim, or offender, which increase the offender's culpability or perceived guilt and the severity of the crime, and thus lead to a more larger, more serious sentence. Okay, so that could be, for example, the crime was planned. Okay, that's an aggravating factor. Mitigating factors are circumstances relating to the offense, victim, or offender, which decrease the offender's culpability and the severity of the crime, and thus the resulting sentence is decreased. So that could be, for example, the crime wasn't planned, the opposite of the aggravating factor, being a really young offender and having high prospects of rehabilitation, showing guilt and remorse. Okay, that's a mitigating factor. Now, guilty pleas are kind of a mitigating factor in itself. But guilty pleas we've already talked about when we talked about plea negotiations. The Sentencing Act requires that a less severe sentence is imposed if the accused has pleaded guilty. And the earlier on they plead, the smaller and smaller this sentence will be, okay? So the earlier you plead, the better. And victim impact statements describe the effects of the offense on the victim. And that can be a verbal statement, a written statement, a drawing if it's a child. The judge uses this to decide how much victims have been affected by the accused's actions. To basically, it can act as an aggravating factor if there's been a large impact on the victims by the crime.